Part 14. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 131. Zhang Cheng's tone was cold, dragging the two of them step by step towards the swimming pool. Over there, down below, is another pool, but 3 or 4 meters away. If the whole person falls, not to mention serious injuries, but at least it can make them feel the pain. And Zhang Cheng had no intention of letting them go just like this. After hearing Zhang Cheng's words, the two young men began to struggle violently. However, how can they compare to the current Zhang Cheng, whose attribute value is around 100 for a normal person? These rich second generations who often have fun can be considered good if their attributes can remain above 90. So there was no way to break free from Zhang Cheng's control. Let go, let me go quickly, the young man yelled desperately. Zhang Cheng remained unmoved. When he reached the edge of the swimming pool, Zhang Cheng stopped, grabbed their feet and dragged them forward. One foot was on the abdomen of the left hand, the young man who talked the most, and his tone was extremely contemptuous. You trash, how dare you touch my people? You don't know the cruelty of the magic city, do you? Zhang Cheng's words made the two of them wake up instantly. Yes, the cruelty of the magic city. Even if Zhang Cheng goes bankrupt, not many people seem to be trying to get him. That myself. Thinking of this, the young man who was stepped on by Zhang Cheng trembled and begged, I'm sorry, Mr. Zhang, I was wrong. I shouldn't mess with your cousin. Please, sir, there are a lot of them, please let me go. Looking at his pleading eyes, Zhang Cheng showed no signs of wavering and just said something calmly. If apologizing works, then why do I need this power and money? After saying that, Zhang Cheng let go of his hand, raised his foot and kicked him hard. The young man screamed as he kicked him down and fell into the swimming pool below. The other young man swallowed, his eyes filled with fear. They never expected that Zhang Cheng was here. Seeing that the young man's begging for mercy was in vain, he gave up asking for mercy and instead thought about how to maintain the position of falling into the water without too much pain. Bang! Zhang Cheng also didn't look at him and kicked him directly. Returning to the small table where the mobile phone was previously placed, Zhang Cheng picked up the mobile phone and called Lu Feng directly. I will send you the information of 3 people later. Within 3 days, tell their families to get out of the upper circles of Magic City. Of course Zhang Cheng would not let them go so easily. If you tell them to die, you won't let them live their whole life. As for destroying other people's families, so what? Holy Mother, no matter what world you are in, you can't survive. If you don't become ruthless, you really think you are not a villain, right? After explaining Lu Feng, Zhang Cheng sent another message to Wu Long. In this world, money and power are the most important things. After doing this, Zhang Cheng turned his attention to the 2 girls in the swimming pool. At this moment, they were still in shock and had not recovered. At this moment, Su Qingying's swimming ring suddenly deflated. Su Qingying woke up and hurriedly swam towards the shore. But it still couldn't resist the speed of the swimming ring leaking air. When Zhang Cheng saw this scene, he jumped into the water and swam towards Su Qingying. Then he held her and swam ashore. Are you okay? Zhang Cheng said softly. Su Qingying's face turned slightly red as she felt the intimate physical contact brought by Zhang Cheng's powerful muscles. What happened before had frightened her a little. If this had happened on the ground, she wouldn't have been much panicked. But it happened in the water that she was afraid of, and it made her feel scared. It's okay, you can put me down. Su Qingying showed a rare shy look. Zhang Cheng smiled slightly, and did not let go of his hand, but tightened it even more. Just kidding, I finally got the chance to hold you. Cousin, I can't swim. Hurry up and carry me up. Chen Xiaoxi saw Zhang Cheng carrying Su Qingying to the shore. After finally regaining her strength, she was unhappy again. As for the little cousin, She can swim. On the other side, the young man who was kicked away by Zhang Cheng at the beginning now ran to the other side of the swimming pool, towards the beach. The two young men lay on the beach chairs, letting the summer sun bask in their skin. Luo Lizzie was wearing beach pants and sunglasses, lying comfortably, and said lazily, "Brother Ye, what are your plans recently?" Luo Lizzie asked Ye Tian to run away from the Song family and defect to him. With the protagonist's ability as a social butterfly, the relationship between the two naturally progressed rapidly. He called me brother and brother. Ye Tian naturally did not disappoint him, although Ye Tian's medical skill level dropped by 2 levels. But he still cured his old man and his mother's illness, and restored his manhood. I plan to open a pharmaceutical company. I just recently compiled a few beauty prescriptions and some prescriptions for special medicines. In this regard, I still need Brother Luo's help. Ye Tian heard this and said with a smile. Since his luck and opportunities were cut off too much, Ye Tian also began to skip the idea of making friends with the big guys in the Magic City, and instead started his entrepreneurial journey. Luo Lizzie is his new nobleman. It's a small matter. I'll have someone go through the formalities for you later. Luo Lizzie smiled. While the two were silent, the young man ran over in panic. Master Luo, Master Ye, and Zhang Cheng are also here. They just beat Master Zhu and Master Shen. I heard the word Zhang Cheng. Ye Tian instantly sat up and took off his sunglasses, a chill flashing through them. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 132. Zhang Cheng. It's this guy again. Recently, I have been feeling frightened, maybe it's because of Zhang Cheng. It was very sudden, and I felt like something very important was lost. Moreover, I have suddenly forgotten some of my medical skills recently. This is very intriguing. In fact, this is not the most important thing. What is important is that the medical skills used by Zhang Cheng actually come from the same source as himself. These are enough to show that some of my medical skills have been forgotten inexplicably, and it must be related to Zhang Cheng. Perhaps, only by killing Zhang Cheng can we return to the past, the period of rapid progress. Thinking of this, Ye Tian calmed down, suppressed his murderous intention, and asked Luo Lizzie, who was lying beside him, "Brother Luo, this Zhang Cheng, is there anyone behind him to support him? Why is he in front of so many people? He is running around like this, and no one comes to cure him." Luo Lizzie heard Ye Tian's inquiry, pondered for a moment, and then said, "Zhang Cheng's identity is a billionaire CEO, but recently I heard that he is very close to Lu Feng and Qin Ming. Maybe he has something to do with these two people. What kind of interest relationship exists?" As the eldest son of the Magic City, Luo Lizzie was naturally very aware of some family situations and matters in the upper-class circles. The life experience of Zhang Cheng's family is actually basically known to the upper class in Shanghai. Now I am alone. Brother Ye, do you want to touch Zhang Cheng? I advise you not to do this. After Luo Lizzie finished speaking, he thought of some possibilities and warned in a deep voice. Ye Tian was a little surprised and asked, "Huh? Why can't you touch him?" In his opinion, if a person lives in a broken house and has no one to protect him, he will move if he moves. Anyway, he is a lonely person. Maybe one day he disappears from the public view, and no one in the Magic City will be surprised. Luo Lizzie said in a deep voice, "It's true that Zhang Cheng is bankrupt, but if you are discovered and you want to touch him, if he disappears one day, Qin Ming and Lu Feng will definitely find a way to get rid of you too. Lose. No matter how down and out Zhang Cheng is, he is still from the top society of the Demon City. Since he can still make friends with people like Lu Feng and Qin Ming, it means that he is useful to these people. If you dare to touch him openly, you will be discovered. When the time comes, you will die." Luo Lizzie is not an alarmist. Unlike an ordinary person, if you want an ordinary person to disappear silently, Just spend some money. The battles between the wealthy families in the Magic City can only be resolved between the wealthy families, but killing is not allowed by the rules. You can use fair and above-board means to make the other party bankrupt and jailed, but you cannot kill. Otherwise it will be a mess. Ye Tian, an ordinary person, intervened and wanted to kill someone with Zhang Cheng's status, so the only thing waiting for him was death. These are the rules. Unless you are a desperado, you don't have to worry about the so-called rules. Okay, I understand. Thank you Brother Luo for clarifying the confusion. Ye Tian was suddenly startled. He originally wanted to find a chance to kill Zhang Cheng, but now he seems to be more cautious. But, if you really want to get Zhang Cheng, you can come here secretly, but you can't be found out, otherwise it will be very miserable. Seeing the murderous intention hidden in Ye Tian's eyes, Luo Li seemed a little unwilling. Ji said sadly. Of course, he didn't mind giving Ye Tian advice, as long as he tied him over. As for Zhang Cheng, Luo Li may not be that scared. The Luo family is not vegetarian either. Ye Tian was secretly happy. During this period, he had been hanging out with Luo Li almost every day. He knew this person quite well. Brother Luo, do you have any clever tips? Ye Tian lowered his attitude and asked humbly. He and Zhang Cheng had never met each other, but Ye Tian always had the urge to kill him. This feeling is very strange. Ye Tian did not have such murderous intention at first, but as his luck value decreased, and Zhang Cheng, as the culprit, would naturally be guided by the plot world, which would have a strong impact on him. Killing intent. As long as Zhang Cheng is eliminated, everything will go smoothly. Luo Li raised his hand towards him. Ye Tian turned his head sideways upon seeing this, and Luo Li said a few words in his ear. But Ye Tian's eyes became brighter and brighter. Although it's a bit clumsy, you can try it. While they were discussing, Zhang Cheng, who had changed into a suit, walked over slowly. Seeing Zhang Cheng's figure getting closer and closer, the expressions of the three of them changed slightly. Stopping whispering, Luo Li calmed down and said with a smile, Mr. Zhang, what a coincidence. Why do you want to come to my place? When they met, Luo Li still wanted to say hello to him. Master Luo, I came to see him, but I didn't come to see you. You are busy with your business. Zhang Cheng didn't look at him, but focused on the young man who had been kicked by him underwater. Seeing Zhang Cheng looking behind him, Luo Li smiled, Mr. Zhang, what happened, do you have to come to him? There is a huge difference in identity between him and Mr. Zhang. This is his younger brother, and their family is also affiliated with the Luo family. As the eldest brother, Luo Li naturally has to protect his subordinates. Mr. Zhang, give me some face. Since what happened is not a big deal, let this matter be revealed. How about that? However, Zhang Cheng glanced at him and said calmly, I'm in a good mood. I call you Mr. Luo. Don't treat yourself like a dish. Get away. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 133. When it came to the last two words, Zhang Cheng's expression was cold. Luo Li was frightened by his momentum, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. After reacting, Ye Tian and his subordinates were still looking at him. Luo Li immediately said in a deep voice, Zhang Cheng, there is no need to be so ruthless. It's just a matter of giving face. As for holding on to him like this. In his opinion, what his three younger brothers did was not too excessive. What's more, Zhang Cheng was also beaten. If this person was beaten again in front of him, if word spread, how could he, Luo Li, be in the devil's capital? Therefore, he is guaranteed this. Zhang Cheng glanced at him contemptuously and said with a smile, Face is only given by talents. You, Luo Lizzie, are not worthy of it. Just because Luo Lizzie and Ye Tian were mixed together, Zhang Cheng couldn't give him any face. Moreover, when he came over before, he obviously saw some changes in Luo Lizzie's expression, and he obviously said something unfavorable to him. Otherwise you won't see yourself changing color. After the attributes were raised to 170, Zhang Cheng's hearing and vision have been qualitatively improved. So when you look at some things, you will be very keen. Zhang Cheng, why are you so arrogant? The entire Magic City doesn't have the capital for your arrogance now. I respect you from a top family. I call you Mr. Zhang. Don't really think that you are still a billionaire. President Luo Lizzie was a little confused by what he said. Having no face, he suppressed his anger and shouted. So what? Am I something your Luo family can control? Get out of here, otherwise, I don't mind asking you to get out myself. Zhang Cheng's eyes were unruly. The Luo family is just a little higher than the Lufeng family, far from the level that makes Zhang Cheng scrupulous. Ye Tian, who was standing aside, looked at the extremely arrogant Zhang Cheng, frowned and said, Mr. Zhang, it's just a trivial matter. As for holding on to him and not letting him go. Zhang Cheng looked sideways and said lightly, who do you think you are? Is it your turn to give me advice? Zhang Cheng is arrogant at the moment, just to dampen his spirit. Don't think that I am being kind to you. You really thought you had a chance to survive until now. If it weren't for the sake of harvesting wool, draining all your luck and getting system rewards, I would have asked you to get out of the Magic City long ago. Ye Tian's expression changed slightly. Mr. Zhang, you'd better not be too arrogant, otherwise you won't live long. Whether you live longer or not, it's none of your business, but I feel that I will definitely live longer than you. Zhang Cheng smiled, then his expression changed, and he said coldly, okay, let's talk to you. Now that you're done with the bullshit, whoever you are, come out with some understanding and don't force me to arrest you personally. If I say I'll give you a good beating, I won't have to wait long. This is Zhang Cheng's style, he must do everything vigorously and resolutely. The same goes for the heroine of the strategy game. Only when you do that action, you will be slower. The face of the young man in swimming trunks changed drastically. He had experienced Zhang Cheng's fighting power before. When he was underwater, those hands were really like iron pliers. The moment they clamped his neck, he really felt a despair spreading in his heart. So when he saw Zhang Cheng coming, the young man was very scared. When he was hesitating whether to go over, Luo Lizzie suddenly shouted, what's wrong? Who does Zhang Cheng mean to beat me in front of me? Luo Lizzie looked very ugly. He looked at Zhang Cheng and said, Zhang Cheng, don't force me to fall out with you. Zhang Cheng looked at him, smiled and said, fall? Go ahead. After saying that, Zhang Cheng jumped out and went straight to the young man. At this moment, Ye Tian, who was on the side, saw Zhang Cheng running towards him. His eyes lit up and he took a few steps forward, directly blocking Zhang Cheng's path. He wanted to try to see what confidence Zhang Cheng had to hit someone in front of them. Ye Tian didn't believe it. Compared with the inheritance from the god of medicine, he also received the inheritance of ancient martial arts. Practice Qi on time every day, and your physique will reach a new level every day. Therefore, he is confident that his physique and some gradually reviving fighting skills are enough to defeat figures like the King of Special Forces. Seeing Ye Tian stand up, Zhang Cheng also deliberately speeded up. It's not that Zhang Cheng has never seen Ye Tian's physique before, but my attributes have already surpassed his. Protagonist, Ye Tian, Son of Destiny. Luck, 35. The full level of luck is 100. The lower the luck, the fewer opportunities the protagonist has. Doing other things will be interfered by luck and will not go smoothly. When it drops to 0, the title of Son of Luck will be deprived and the host task will be completed. Attributes. Strength, 160. Reactions, 145. Speed, 165. Charm, 141. Note, the standard for a normal adult male is 100, and the maximum charm value is 149. Yet Tian's attributes have been crushed by him in all aspects today. Yet Tian's overall attributes were uneven, while Zhang Cheng's basic attributes were all at 170. Seeing him standing up to block him, Zhang Cheng's lips curved into a smile. Suit thugs. All attributes add 50%. Temporarily activate all top fighting skills and transform violence into aesthetics. This is the advantage of Krypton Gold players. When the Suit Thug skill was activated, Zhang Cheng couldn't help but become a little faster. It seems that he wants to use the ancient martial arts inheritance that comes with the inheritance of the god of medicine to deal with himself. Zhang Cheng no longer suppressed his speed and directly shot out at an extremely fast speed. He raised his fist and hit Ye Tian hard on the cheek. Puff. Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 134. One punch down. Ye Tian was knocked away directly, his eyes full of confusion. What happened? Why am I being beaten away? Isn't he just a rich second generation? How could a rich second generation have such good skills? Before he could think about it, severe pain rushed into his mind. Then, a mouthful of blood and broken teeth spurted out. His whole body hit the ground hard, and then he passed out completely. Zhang Cheng's punch didn't have too much force, but it was enough to give him a slight concussion. If he really didn't hold back, Zhang Cheng even felt that he could blow his head off with one punch. Luo Lizzie saw that his usually arrogant little brother was killed by Zhang Cheng with one punch today. The shock on his face couldn't stop. He also knew about Ye Tian's strength. As for the retired soldiers and bodyguards in his family, 7 or 8 of them would be able to defeat Ye Tian alone. However, such a tough little guy was actually knocked out by Zhang Cheng with one punch today. Get over here and get beaten. Before he could recover, Zhang Cheng's arrogant voice came. I saw the young man walking over tremblingly. Seeing this scene, Luo Lizzie didn't dare to say anything about protecting him. Didn't he see that the little brother he relied on was beaten to the ground? If he says a few more words, Zhang Chengzhen will probably punch him. Seeing the miserable state of Ye Tian who fell to the ground and passed out, Luo Lizzie couldn't help but shuddered. Don't dare to go up. The saliva, blood, and broken teeth are still there. How disgusting. Zhang Cheng is like the overlord of the swimming pool at this moment. In front of him, a trembling young man wearing swimming trunks said with frightened eyes, Mr. Zhang, please spare me. It's me who is mean and a beast. I scared your cousin. He never thought that he was just inciting the other 2 people to harass Chen Xiaoxi and the others on a whim. Unexpectedly, the harassment failed, and instead he was beaten. Zhang Cheng looked at his trembling appearance and frowned. It would be a bit unethical if I slapped him too. But seeing that there were no injuries on his body, I felt a little unhappy. Looking at your cowardice, slap yourself 10 times. After explaining, as soon as Zhang Cheng turned around, he heard the sound of slaps. When he walked in front of Luo Lizzie, Zhang Cheng stopped and gave him a meaningful look. Master Luo, there are some things you'd better not get involved in, otherwise you won't be able to bear the consequences. Luo Lizzie's body trembled and he said nothing. However, he could guess that Zhang Cheng was probably talking about Ye Tian. However, as a young man from a wealthy family, why would Zhang Cheng target Ye Tian, an ordinary person? Looking at Zhang Cheng's leaving figure, Luo Lizzie was a little confused. After Zhang Cheng left this area, he walked to the swimming pool parking lot. He came here simply to see Ye Tian, and then he couldn't help but come over and want to be arrogant. As a result, it was discovered that Ye Tian's demeanor was getting lower and lower after his luck value dropped, and he could not hide many things, which could be found on his expression. Perhaps it was because of the decrease in luck that Ye Tian became more and more like an ordinary person. I hope that after this warning, Luo can calm down for me. Ye Tian quickly woke up from his coma with the help of the inner energy he had cultivated in his body. As soon as he woke up, the pain instantly woke him up. Getting up from the hot ground, Ye Tian quickly came to the swimming pool, his appearance reflected in the water. The left side of his face was dented, a mixture of saliva and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his left eye narrowed into a straight line. With a trembling hand, he gently touched the left side of his face. It hurts to step on the horse, Ye Tian couldn't help but cursed. It really hurts. Luo Lizi put on his clothes, came to Ye Tian and said, "Brother Ye, let's go. I'll take you to the hospital first." He couldn't bear to look at Ye Tian's face, it was so miserable. Zhang Cheng is really serious. In contrast, the young man Zhang Cheng asked him to beat himself was much better. Although it hurt a lot, it only left one more mark. Ye Tian is called ruthless. Half of his face is considered useless. Okay, Ye Tian nodded cautiously, fearing that the movement would be too large and involve the wound. Now that my whole face hurts like this, I can only go to the hospital to deal with it first, and then go back and prescribe myself some medicine. Damn Zhang Cheng. I must let him die, Ye Tian felt filled with hatred. Your appearance made me lose the opportunity to reach the top, and made me lose Song Yiwei. If it weren't for you, no one would have known about the mistake I made in my medical practice that night. You have the same medical skills as me, you were definitely responsible for that night. You must die. At this moment, Ye Tian's heart was completely twisted. On the other side of the parking lot, Zhang Cheng returned to the Porsche. His little cousin and Su Qingying were already waiting for him beside the car. Walking over, Zhang Cheng said apologetically, "I just had something to deal with, let's go." This trip to the swimming pool was a disappointment. The second girl didn't feel like playing anymore. "Cousin, take us back to school," the always lively little cousin rarely asked to play this time. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 135. Zhang Cheng agreed to her request. Driving to the Magic City College of Finance and Economics. Today is indeed not the right time to continue playing. Neither the little cousin nor Su Qingying is in any mood at the moment. What was originally a pleasant activity with a girl turned into a psychologically traumatic activity for Zhang Cheng. "Cousin, goodbye." After sending the two of them to school, Chen Xiaoxi just said hello symbolically, and then left with Su Qingying in her arms. Su Qingying just waved at him and said nothing. Watching their disappearing figures, Zhang Cheng lit a cigarette and started smoking. After another call to Lu Feng, Zhang Chengke got out of the car and got into the Lamborghini. At about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we returned to the villa. It was still early. Zhang Cheng returned to the study room on the second floor, took out a notebook from the bookshelf, opened it, then picked up a pen and started recording. Fish keeping diary. The weather is very nice today. In school, I successfully attracted the girl Qingying and gained add 2 favorability. Very happy. Just when I was about to take advantage of this opportunity to get closer to Qingying girl. Today, I was disturbed by someone again. The mood is not beautiful at the moment. Yes, throughout the whole day today, with the help of my little cousin, the progress of Qingying girl was only loaded by 2%. This is very angry. Ye Tian's people are really troublemakers. They always come out to cause trouble for me. But it's okay. I punched him later and he felt quite comfortable. Hey. But I'm still upset. Ye Tian is almost gone, and he still comes to interrupt my date with Qingying girl. This is too much. So I decided that I would kill him as soon as possible. Came back early with nothing to do, ready to sleep. Before I finished writing, A phone rang. Zhang Cheng took the mobile phone next to the desk and looked at it, and found that it was Su Yao calling. "Hey, dear, I'm going to the Magic City tonight. Do you want to come over tonight?" Su Yao's slightly excited voice came over the phone. Zhang Cheng was slightly surprised when he heard this. Asked, "Why did you come back early?" According to calculations, Su Yao should not be back for 2 days. "Last night, Sister Zhongji from the Zhong family in the Demon City invited me to dinner, and then the contract was drawn up this morning. By the way, I forgot to tell you, Sister Zhongji is very nice. I chatted with her for a long time, and in the end we became good sisters. Next time Sister Zhongji says she wants to come to the Magic City to play with me, I will take you to meet her then." Su Yao was obviously a little excited on the phone, talking endlessly to Zhang Cheng about the past 2 days. "Zhang Cheng. Zhongji, sister. Zhongji is worthy of being a woman who can live to the end of the novel. No one else has such communication skills." Less than a day after returning, Su Yao was captured and the two became sisters. There was no need to think about the topic during the period, it was Zhongji who brought it up. She just mentioned it a little bit, but she didn't expect her to guess her relationship with Su Yao. As Zhang Cheng's second friend of Guanbao, Zhongji is still very smart. Zhang Cheng suppressed a smile and said, "Well, I'll treat her to noodles next time she comes. I'll talk to you when I get back. I'll arrive in Magic City at about 10 o'clock. Will you pick me up then?" "Good." Hang up the phone. Zhang Cheng let out a sigh of relief. When the two women met, there was no fighting, but they became good sisters in harmony. "What should I say? Everything is still under control." Shaking his head, Zhang Cheng picked up the pen and deleted a paragraph he had written previously. "Well, things have made new progress, Yao Mei is back. I'm also on the line with President Zongda, which means that my connection between the two plots is progressing very quickly. Regarding this, I think it's better to kill Ye Tian first. But Su Yao is back, which means that in the video 2 days ago, she said she wanted to reward me, so can I be rewarded tonight? That's pretty good. Forget it, let's get some sleep and order a few dozen oysters to replenish our body. It's destined to be a sleepless night tonight." In an instant, my mood became beautiful again. Closing the notebook, Zhang Cheng put it back into the mezzanine of the bookshelf. This position ensured that it would not be easily discovered. After ordering a few dozen oysters and leeks online, Zhang Cheng took a simple bath. After eating, I took another nap. It wasn't until the alarm clock rang at 9:30 that Zhang Cheng opened his eyes. Eyes shine. After putting on his clothes, Zhang Cheng drove to the airport. Not long after arriving at the airport, he received a call from Su Yao. In the parking lot, Su Yao comes over with her suitcase. "Are you hungry? Go eat something first," Zhang Cheng said softly to Su Yao in the car. "Good. A long absence is better than a new marriage." The two found a restaurant, and after a hurried meal, Zhang Cheng took her back to the small villa. Entering the bedroom, the door is not closed yet. The next moment, Su Yao's expression changed. The slender little hands unbuttoned each button on the lady's suit, and the clothes were discarded on the ground. The whole person suddenly became so charming and mature. Su Yao slowly hugged him from the back, stood on tiptoes, ran her slender fingers across Zhang Cheng's abdomen, and pressed against his back. Her almond-shaped eyes were watery, and her voice was as gentle as water. "Is this the reward you want? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 136. Zhang Cheng was shocked by Su Yao's sudden surprise. "It's only been a few days, right? This woman just went out for a while, Why did she come back so changed? Before, she was a cold, strong, and somewhat arrogant female CEO. The makeup on her face hasn't changed much now, it's still the light makeup she always wears. As soon as Zhang Cheng turned around and saw the look in his eyes and the movements of Su Yao's hands, he felt a charm. The temptation is too great. Su Yao is like a white and soft feather, gently sweeping over her body. Zhang Cheng sighed, and the corners of his gentle mouth gradually turned upward. Suddenly, after a long time, Zhang Cheng smiled indifferently. In the demon capital, I negotiated with the better Zhong family, so the Su Group's business has begun to expand to other provinces. I really want to thank Sister Zhongji this time. If she hadn't suddenly appeared, the cooperation between the Zhong family and I wouldn't even have started. After rewarding Zhang Cheng, Su Yao hugged him and whispered to him what had happened in the past 2 days. Zhang Cheng put his arms around her slender waist and said with a smile, "Then when Sister Zhongji comes to Shanghai some other time, I will treat her to a meal and thank her properly." Big bad guy, what are you doing now? Su Yao thought for a while and brought the topic back to Zhang Cheng. She discovered Zhang Cheng's whole person. The deeper you get to know him, the harder it is to find out whether he is real. However, these days, the various surprises Zhang Cheng brought to her also made her somewhat confused about Zhang Cheng's identity. Hearing this, Zhang Cheng smiled calmly and said, "Do you really want to know?" Zhang Cheng grinned and said, "Actually, there is nothing to hide from you. Do you know about the recent rise of Tiancheng Group?" "I know, what's wrong?" Su Yao nodded and replied. "That's mine. The current value offered to me by this company is 140 billion, surpassing your Su family." When Su Yao heard this, her almond-shaped eyes widened instantly. Of course, this is just the market value, and the actual funds brought in are not yet there, so don't think too much. Looking at Su Yao's expression, Zhang Cheng shook his head and smiled. "If nothing happens, I will have to go to the demon city in a while." Su Yao, who was still shocked by Zhang Cheng's worth, frowned when she heard Zhang Cheng's next words. "Why are you going to the demon city?" "Of course there are important things to do, and they are necessary," Zhang Cheng replied. "How long will it take to go?" "I will come back after 1 month to resolve the matter over there," Zhang Cheng promised. Not long after a month, he will build his own new industrial chain there, and he will also find opportunities to marry dogs and sons-in-law one by one. To pluck the wool, it is necessary to pluck it clean. In a month, he collected the wool of his adopted son-in-law Chen Luo and established the cornerstone of his own business facing the world. It's a quick time. After killing Ye Tian, Zhang Cheng had to set off. Su Yao was silent for a while. A month was okay. It was not unacceptable. She immersed herself in work and passed it in a flash. "Then you have to promise me to come back soon and don't forget your home while you're out there." Zhang Cheng turned to look at her seriously, couldn't help but laugh, gently scratched his nose, and said softly, "Don't worry, I will never forget it." "Getting over you? That doesn't exist." Shenhao, My Fiancée is a Villain Female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 137. 9 o'clock sharp. Early the next morning, Su Yao got up early. When she woke up, Zhang Cheng was already playing with his phone. "Woke up?" Su Yao nodded and said sleepily, "I have to go to the company today to take care of everything." Zhang Cheng raised his eyebrows. "Are you Su family busy lately?" Zhang Cheng drove Su Yao to have breakfast, and then personally sent her to the Su Group headquarters. After parting with her, Zhang Cheng returned to his villa. "I took a shower immediately and then went back to my room to sleep." Falling on the pillow, Zhang Cheng slept until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. "Come together and feel refreshed." After regaining his energy, the moment Zhang Cheng opened his eyes, he heard the notification sound from the system. Ding! Ye Tian's luck value is -15. Villain value at 3000. Zhang Chen was slightly surprised. Ye Tian's luck value had dropped so much. Ding. Detect the host's first robbery of 80 points of luck from the Son of Luck. The system is about to be upgraded. Is there any upgrade? Zhang Chen thought thoughtfully when he heard the voice in his head. Upgrade progress. 10%. 50%. 70%, 100%. Update completed. 10 minutes later, when the sound of the system sounded again, Zhang Chen felt his eyes blur. Soon, a brand new system panel appeared in his sight. System, Villain System. Host, Zhang Chen. Wealth value, 142,711,076,081.16 yuan. Villain value, 3,786 points. Backpack, Villain Gift Pack *1, used when the next copy is opened. Disposable attribute points, 0. Attributes, Constitution, 170. Strength, 170. Reactions, 170. Speed, 170. Charisma, 149. Note, the standard for a normal adult male is 100, and the maximum charm value is 149, full. Skills, plus, click to expand. Luck value, 80. Note, the luck value is an equal reward obtained after plundering the protagonist's luck. Since the host is a villain, his own luck value cannot be the same as that of the protagonist. It is taken care of by the plot world and is only used in subsequent systems, or exchanged for the villain at a ratio of 1:1000. Value. System Mall, open when the total villain value reaches 80,000. Copy progress, the almighty medical god of the beautiful CEO, 80%, the most powerful son-in-law of a rich family, 5%, to be opened. Looking at the new page of the system interface, Zhang Chen touched his chin thoughtfully. After the update, the system has an additional system mall and copy progress display. There is nothing wrong with this feature. However, the appearance of this luck value is worth pondering for Zhang Chen. Maybe it will be used in the subsequent system mall. He shook his head and didn't pay much attention. The First People's Hospital of Shanghai. Ye Tian looked at his unrecovered face in the mirror, his eyes filled with anger. Compared with him, Song Qing, who has been sentenced by the court at this moment, is even more miserable. Serving his sentence in prison, he stepped on the sewing machine every day just to behave better and win a reduced sentence. However, the two of them had a tacit understanding and were full of resentment towards Zhang Chengdu. When Ye Tian was extremely angry, Luo Lizi opened the door of the ward and walked in. "Brother Ye, I'm afraid it will be difficult to apply for the registration of your pharmaceutical company." Hearing Luo Lizi's words, the angry Ye Tian suddenly stopped and asked hurriedly, "Brother Luo, what's going on?" "People from the Song family were causing trouble, and the application I submitted was immediately returned," Luo Lizi said in a deep voice. Ye Tian's eyes flickered. In fact, he still has some feelings for Song Yiwei. If he can get in touch with the Song family again. But it was impossible to think about it. That day, I ran over and broke up with the old man Song Yun's hung very arrogantly. If I dared to go back, I would probably be beaten to death. Luo Lizi, who had been staring at him, saw the light shining in Ye Tian's eyes. He frowned slightly. Why does it feel like Ye Tian is becoming more and more like an ordinary person, showing a lot of emotions on his face? Illusion. At the cocktail party, Ye Tian still gave him a very mysterious feeling. But for some reason, during this period, Ye Tian's expression showed too many emotions, and there was no sense of mystery in him before. For a moment, Luo Lizi hesitated a little. Should he continue to get closer to Ye Tian? There is always a kind of uneasiness permeating the top of my heart. 8 p.m. Zhang Cheng called all the main personnel to a private restaurant, in a luxuriously furnished private room. The main members of the Tiancheng group are all here. In the private room, the four people looked at each other. This time, something big was definitely going to happen. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 138. With their understanding of Zhang Cheng these days, if there is nothing major, Zhang Cheng completely regarded them as heir and could do whatever he liked. But once you call yourself over, something big is bound to happen. Mr. Zhang, do you have any plans for us to come over? Zhang Cheng didn't say anything, and the few of them could only eat their meals absent-mindedly. Halfway through the meal, Zhou couldn't help but ask. The company's busy business recently made him feel exhausted. He was wearing a suit at the moment, but it obviously didn't fit him well, and he was quite thin. Not to mention that he was preparing for his wedding to Huang Jiakai. He was almost schizophrenic. He was busy on both sides and looked sloppy. Hearing Zhou ask the important point, several people also put down their bowls and chopsticks and looked at Zhang Cheng quietly. Zhang Cheng ate his meal and said calmly, "You guys are all pretty good. But that's not what I want. I told you back then that I wanted to stir up the stagnant water of the upper-class society in the Magic City. So, I called you all here today. Naturally I have something to arrange." Hearing Zhang Cheng talk about the key points, several people also listened attentively, expecting Zhang Cheng to continue talking. First of all, it's Wulong's side. We've started to help you clear your name. Have you thrown away all the dirty stuff over there? Zhang Cheng put down the bowls and chopsticks and looked at Wulong and asked. Wulong nodded seriously and replied, "Everything is in accordance with Mr. Jiang's instructions. Throw away all the things that should be thrown away. Although those unclean industries make money quickly, their total value is only 5 to 6 billion. Now the equity held by Tiancheng Group alone is enough for him. If you don't need to care about that little thing, just throw it away. Anyway, you have made enough money over the years. Well, your son is now in your brother's hometown. Although he is your brother, you have not fulfilled your obligation as a brother. You have not fulfilled your responsibility to support his parents. Even the money was only sent to him before. I'll pay you tens of thousands of yuan back, and I'll have no contact with you." Zhang Cheng sneered and continued, "His elderly parents help you raise your son. The family is not rich, but they live in harmony. If you step in now, you will have no idea whether your son recognizes you or not. It's none of my business." After Wulong heard what he said, he immediately lowered his head in shame. He was also several decades old, so he naturally knew how ruthless he was. The brother with whom he had the best relationship back then died after blocking a knife for him. As a result, he didn't even think about his parents and didn't take care of them. Zhang Cheng was too lazy to go see him again. Whether his son recognized him or not had nothing to do with him. Anyway, I did everything I promised. Then, Zhang Cheng turned his attention to Zhang Hanjian. This once extremely mysterious underground queen is now tied to Zhang Cheng for profit, and is gradually surrendering to him. Of course, it can also be said to be a killer. Zhang Hanjian, your daughter. Seeing Zhang Cheng mention his daughter, Zhang Hanjian's charming face suddenly became pleasantly surprised. "Mr. Zhang, what happened to my daughter? Is there any news about her?" Zhang Hanjian was a little nervous. What she fears most is hearing bad news, hearing that something has happened to her daughter. Zhang Hanjian's eyes were full of hope. Zhang Cheng smiled, took a sip of tea, and exhaled, "That's not true. Your daughter is doing well now. However, as I told you before, the Nightingale organization will be destroyed, and your organization will be destroyed. It's the same people." Zhang Hanjian's breath froze. Of course she knew. "But you don't have to worry. Originally, according to my idea, I would personally go to Murray country later and bring your daughter back. Ah, this is too troublesome for you, Mr. Zhang. Zhang Hanjian was shocked when she heard this, and Zhang Cheng went to help him find his daughter in person. For a moment, she was a little overwhelmed, a little surprised, and a little moved. A man of Zhang Cheng's stature had to go there in person, so it was considered that he was not with the wrong person. But there's no need now. I'll have someone go to Murray country to find Zhang Lai and bring her back. During this period, Zhang Cheng took her reaction into his eyes and flashed a smile. As a person, you have to learn how to inadvertently give yourself credit or something, so that you can better highlight yourself. He had indeed planned to go out and bring Zhang Lai back in person before, but that was no longer needed. After Lin Yuan's leg was cured, it was enough to let Lin Yuan run for a while. Of course, Lin Yuan and Zhang Lai will not go back to the Demon City directly, but will go to the Demon City with them. Wouldn't it be good for a killer, a master of mercenaries, to use it to block bullets for himself? With Lin Yuan's physique, he would have no problem blocking a few bullets. Thank you, Mr. Zhang, for remembering me. Zhang Hanjian was extremely grateful and looked at Zhang Cheng sincerely. Zhang Cheng waved his hand. It didn't matter. What about me? Brother Cheng, is there any benefit from me? Seeing that both of them were clearly arranged, Lu Feng also wanted to stand up at this time to see if he could get some benefits or something. Zhang Cheng was silent for a few seconds, looked at him and said, I still need a few cars recently. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 139. I still need a few cars. Lu Feng, who was smiling broadly, suddenly froze. What the hell? Several others were also holding back their laughter. When Zhang Cheng didn't come, Lu Feng complained to them that Zhang Cheng took 2 of his cars and didn't return them. Therefore, when they heard what Zhang Cheng said, several people couldn't hold it in anymore. But it's not that Zhang Cheng doesn't promise Lu Feng some benefits. But Lu Feng is the delivery boy. Zhang Cheng couldn't think of any benefit to give him. After all, Lu Feng's presence in the book is lower than his own, and the part with the most scenes is when the land was knocked over by Yeti and Kang. Then his part is over. Looking at Lu Feng's resentful eyes, Zhang Cheng also smiled. Next time, I haven't thought of any benefits for you yet. Lu Feng still couldn't help but feel depressed. Logically speaking, I have been with Zhang Cheng for the longest time, and I have been fooling around with Zhang Cheng from the beginning. However, he did not suffer much loss. Lu Feng still obtained 14% of Tiancheng Group's shares, which was more than the other 3 people combined. Lu Feng is not dissatisfied with the shares he obtained. On the contrary, he is a little happy. If Zhang Cheng hadn't given him any advice, then he would have definitely sold this piece of engineering land to Yetian at a low price at that cocktail party or at some point. That night at the reception, Yetian suddenly offered to buy his unfinished project site at such a high price. If Zhang Cheng hadn't told him or bought it, he would have taken action without hesitation. Therefore, Lu Feng has no dissatisfaction with Zhang Cheng taking the big head. It is most comfortable to lie down and take the money. The shares in my hand now are enough to make my mouth water. Recently, the old men in the family are trying to find ways to get themselves to give up their shares to him. Oh, what a shame, old man, you want to trick your son. After making the cake, Zhang Cheng also regained his cool appearance. As he became serious, his aura could not help but spread out. For a moment, the entire private room was filled with the aura of a superior person, causing several people present to sit upright involuntarily. Everyone looked solemn. Zhang Cheng tapped his fingers on the table and said calmly, since I have started to honor all the things that are due to you, then I will also tell you some of my arrangements for you now. Zhou Hao. As the first person named, Zhou Hao immediately responded, Mr. Zhang. Zhang Cheng looked at Zhou Hao and said slowly, you are the president of Tiancheng Group, so some things must be left to you. Among the 100 billion group, Li Group, and Long Group, I want you to acquire the equity of some of their small shareholders within a month. Also, I will give you some inside information for you to operate. I'm not asking you to annex these two companies. I only ask you to do your best to win the equity of these two groups. Do you understand? As for funds, you can borrow money from major banks yourself. You don't need me to teach you in this regard. Hearing Zhang Cheng's understatement, Zhou Hao felt cold sweat break out. What is the premium for acquiring the shares of Long Group and Li Group? Mr. Zhang, is this a joke? Zhang Cheng looked at Zhou Hao's stiff expression and immediately smiled, do you think you need a premium? No, except for those scattered stocks and small shareholders, the rest I will give you, you can just buy it at 40%. Okay, Mr. Zhang. When Zhou Hao heard what he said, he calmed down and nodded heavily. Zhang Cheng didn't care about him anymore. For Zhou Hao, just give him some guidance and let him do the rest. It's true that he is a business genius. Would it be simple for someone to create a super rich man with over 100 billion yuan for Yetian? However, Zhang Cheng's arrival brought many of Zhou Hao's plans forward. He likes quick results. Tonight's dinner is actually over here. Until the fifth day. An investment company suddenly emerged and suddenly began to sweep up the stocks of Long's and Li's stocks in the stock market. After acquiring some scattered shares, some small shareholders also traded their small shares because of the price given by this mysterious investment company. In just a few days, this mysterious investment company occupied 19% of the Long Group's shares. Zhang Cheng, who is addicted to the gentle countryside, doesn't pay attention to everything happening outside, and he doesn't want to pay attention. He has absorbed so many people, and if some things are handed over to him, the people under him will naturally help him get them done. In the past 5 days, Zhang Cheng has not been too lazy. With his efforts, he has accumulated a lot of villain points, and now it has finally exceeded 80,000. Compared to his coolness, Yetian was not idle during this period. Since his luck value was only 20, he no longer thinks carefully about many things. Because his luck is everything to him. As long as he loses his luck, he will be an ordinary person. The remaining 20 points of luck and the will of the plot world are also guiding him to do something unfavorable to Zhang Cheng. During this period, Yetian also contacted an organization based on the information provided by Luo Lizi. Putting down the phone, Yetian's eyes were filled with an unconventional viciousness, and a ferocious smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Zhang Cheng, you are dead. Shenhao, my fiancée is a villain female CEO. Author, Floating Like Sand. Chapter 140. In the past few days, Yetian's luck value has dropped by another 5 points because a lot of Long's and Li's shares were acquired by Zhang Cheng's investment company. In the plot of the novel, Yetian's rise is inextricably linked to these hundreds of billions groups. Including Mr. Zhang, who was cured by Yetian. Zhang Chengyuan. He was also Yetian's biggest helper in the Magic City, and even gave him a lot of help when Yetian came to Beijing in the later period. When Zhang Cheng acquired and annexed the shares of these companies, Yetian's luck value will also drop accordingly. This also caused Yetian to become more and more crazy during this period. I was so deeply affected by the will of the plot world that I had a deep desire to eradicate Zhang Cheng. Only by destroying the unstable factors can everything belonging to Yetian return to normal. According to the dark web address Brother Luo gave me, I spent 1 billion to hire a killer, and the killer will arrive in the Magic City tonight. Zhang Cheng, you are dead this time. Looking at the mysterious dark web website on the computer screen, in the dim room, the light from the computer screen illuminated Yetian's face. Madness and murderous intent filled his face. This kind of emotion, which was very inconsistent with Yetian, was complexly bonded together on his face. Makes him completely unlike a decent person. As Zhang Cheng said before, the results are written by the winner. When the time comes, he will have the final say on who is the villain and who is the righteous. 2 more days passed and Zhang Cheng was in the villa. Zhang Cheng sat in the restaurant, enjoying his dinner. In front of the dining table, there is an iPad, with Lin Yuan's honest face reflected on it. Mr. Zhang, I have already sent a message to our group leader for the person you want to bring. He will take people to send Zhang Lai back to the Magic City tonight. Lin Yuan was lying in the hospital at the moment, and his legs were also injured due to Zhang Cheng. After treatment, she gradually began to improve. After a while, you can basically get out of bed and walk normally. Zhang Cheng looked at the screen of his tablet and said with a smile, "Okay, I'll pick him up in person tonight." He spent a lot of money to hire 5 extraordinary bodyguards from the mercenary group that Lin Yuan once belonged to, at a high price of 30 million a year. Because this mercenary group is composed of retired special forces from all over the country, its combat strength is also guaranteed. There is no way that he would go to the Demon City and beat people by himself, right? Some things still have to be left to the subordinates. Spending 30 million, not only for thugs, but also to block a shot for himself when necessary. The demons are not as good as the demon capital. There are too many hidden families in the demon capital. Some families even have gun licenses. It was different in the Magic City. The hidden family might have money, but not as much as him. At most, they were at the same level as Lu Feng. It's different in the demon capital. The second thing is that they have money. The most important thing is that most of their forces are overseas and on Hong Kong Island. Therefore, for the sake of safety and teamwork, Zhang Cheng decided to mobilize a few bodyguards from Lin Yuan's mercenary group. "Mr. Zhang, I really want to thank you this time. When my leg is almost healed in 2 days, my sister said she wants to treat you to a meal." Looking at Zhang Cheng's gentle and elegant face, Lin Yuan was deeply moved. He glanced at Lin Qingjian, who was peeling an apple in his ward, and Lin Yuan couldn't help but smile. A big shot like Mr. Zhang is willing to come to the hospital to perform acupuncture on himself to treat a disabled person for the sake of himself, an ordinary person. If he said he didn't like his sister, Lin Yuan wouldn't believe it even to death. Lin Qingjian, who was peeling an apple on the side, turned red instantly when she heard what her brother said. "Brother, what are you talking about? When did I say that I wanted to invite Senior Zhang Cheng to dinner?" Lin Yuan looked at her reaction and immediately grinned. "No, you said it." During the video call, Zhang Cheng watched the conversation between the brother and sister and couldn't help but laugh. Lin Yuan also learned to use his imagination. "You've all learned how to send girls into the tiger's mouth?" Seeing the quarrel between the brother and sister, Zhang Cheng shook his head and laughed. "But it's okay, with the help of you, my uncle, who is comparable to my little cousin." "Uncle, you will definitely help me on my way to flirt with your sister." Zhang Cheng was moved by Lin Yuan's awareness. "If you decide to block a gun in the future, try not to let your uncle block it, otherwise if you become disabled somewhere, you won't be able to explain it to Qingjian." "Qingjian, I heard that you want to treat me to dinner, is it true?" Zhang Cheng couldn't help but ask after watching their bickering. The 2 brothers and sisters who were still fighting suddenly stopped what they were doing when they heard Zhang Cheng's voice. Lin Yuan handed the phone to Lin Qingjian. Seeing Zhang Cheng's serious face, Lin Qingjian was a little dumbfounded. "Huh?" Made a sound. He hesitated and said, "Huh? If you don't mind, Senior Zhang Cheng, come to my house tomorrow and I'll cook you a meal." Ever since Lin Yuan agreed to be Zhang Cheng's bodyguard, Zhang Cheng went directly to the Magic City and found a house with 3 bedrooms and 1 living room of more than 100 square meters for Lin Yuan. It was said that as a benefit to him, he would get a bonus after working for 1 year. When Zhang Cheng heard this, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. "If you do this, it will have a bad impact. Do you believe that your brother will never bother us?